Hello, how are you? I'm gonna do this Galaxy device will get Samsung One UI 7 with Android 15. So that's what my phone should have. I don't know why it should have that, but this Samsung phone should have it.
These Galaxy devices will get Samsung One UI 7 with Android 15 Sammy Guru. In December 2024, Samsung's Android 15 update journey finally began with the launch of One UI 7 beta. However, the beta update arrived several months behind the usual schedule, pushing the stable version to the new year. The Galaxy S25 series, launched on January 22, 2025, shipped with the new version out of the box. Samsung has since launched several other phones with One UI 7. The company is now rolling out the Android 15-based One UI 7 update to older models. The rollout began on April 7th, starting with the Galaxy S24, Fold 6, and Flip 6 in Korea. A bunch of other devices have since received the update in various parts of the world. If you're wondering whether this update will be available for your Galaxy, here's a full list of eligible devices. Samsung Galaxy devices eligible for the Android 15-based One UI 7 update. Samsung offers at least 2 major Android OS updates for every Galaxy smartphone, including the entry-level models. So, any phone that debuted with Android 13 will get Android 15 and One UI 7. Additionally, all flagship devices, including tablets and foldables, launched with Android 11 and newer are eligible for 4 Android OS updates, 7 for the Galaxy S24 series and newer flagships. As such, flagship models launched in 2021 and beyond will all get the next Android version. On top of this, Samsung promises 4 major OS updates for several mid-range devices across its Galaxy A, M, and F series, and 6 years for recent models. Some of these phones aren't launched as widely as flagships but are sold in some strategic markets where the Korean firm has tougher competition from other brands. By joining all the dots, we can create a list of Galaxy devices eligible for the Android 15-based One UI 7 update. You can check the list below to see if your Samsung handset will receive a big new feature update soon. S-series flagship smartphones. Galaxy S24 Ultra. Galaxy S24 Plus. Galaxy S24. Galaxy S24 FE. Galaxy S23 Ultra. Galaxy S23 Plus. Galaxy S23. Galaxy S23 FE. Galaxy S22 Ultra. Galaxy S22 Plus. Galaxy S22, Galaxy S21 Ultra, Galaxy S21 Plus, Galaxy S21, Galaxy S21 FE, Z Series Foldables, Galaxy Z Fold 6, Galaxy Z Flip 6, Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, Galaxy Z Fold 5, Galaxy Z Flip 5, Galaxy Z Fold 4, Galaxy Z Flip 4, Galaxy Z Fold 3, Galaxy Z Flip 3, Tab Series Tablets, Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra, Galaxy Tab S10 Plus, Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, Galaxy Tab S9 Plus, Galaxy Tab S9, Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus, Galaxy Tab S9 FE, Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, Galaxy Tab S8, Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2024, Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, Galaxy Tab A9, Galaxy Tab Active 5, Galaxy Tab Active 4 Pro, A Series, Galaxy A73, Galaxy A55, Galaxy A54, Galaxy A53, Galaxy A35, Galaxy A34, Galaxy A33, Galaxy A25, Galaxy A24, Galaxy A23, Galaxy A16 LTE and 5G models, Galaxy A15 LTE and 5G models, Galaxy A14 LTE and 5G models, Galaxy A06, Galaxy A05, Galaxy A05s, M series, Galaxy M55, Galaxy M55s, Galaxy M54, Galaxy M53, Galaxy M35, Galaxy M34, Galaxy M33, Galaxy M15, Galaxy M14 LTE and 5G models, Galaxy M05, F series, Galaxy F55, Galaxy F54, Galaxy F34, Galaxy F16, Galaxy F15, Galaxy F14 LTE and 5G models, Galaxy F05. As of this writing, we believe these Galaxy devices will get Samsung's Android 15-based One UI 7 update. If the company gets more generous, it may update a few other devices. Keep an eye out for Samsung's official update roadmaps for your region. Note that these roadmaps are usually region-specific because it doesn't launch every device in every country. Stick around for more Galaxy devices that run One UI 7 out of the box. While Samsung's One UI 7 update arrived late for older devices, most Galaxy phones and tablets launched in 2025 run the new version. These include the Galaxy S25 flagships and a bunch of budget and mid-range models. Below is the full list of devices that currently run One UI 7. Galaxy S25 Ultra, Galaxy S25 Plus, Galaxy S25, Galaxy S25 Edge, Galaxy A56, Galaxy A36, Galaxy A26, Galaxy A06 5G, Galaxy M56, Galaxy M16, Galaxy M06 5G One UI 7 Core, Galaxy F56. Galaxy F06 5G 1 UI 7 Core. Galaxy X Cover 7 Pro. Galaxy Tab S10 FE Plus. Galaxy Tab S10 FE. Galaxy Tab Active 5 Pro.
Oh, I'm supposed to show you one of these videos, but I'm not doing the video because I got in trouble for it the other day when I did the video. So can't do the video. It's got the video for UI 7, most advanced. That's what it's saying, but it's really not the prettiest or the best. But it's doing for the new Samsung phone.
Samsung posts updated Galaxy One UI 7 schedule through June. As its rollout continues, Samsung has just posted an updated One UI 7 schedule for Galaxy devices, with many more updates coming in June. To say that the One UI 7 rollout was messy would be an understatement. But, to Samsung's credit, things have been moving along at a very fast pace. Following the initial release in April, the company quickly started beating its own schedule. And now an updated schedule from Samsung reveals when to expect remaining One UI 7 updates for a number of Galaxy devices. Samsung tipster Tarun Vat spotted a new schedule from Samsung Germany which details remaining rollouts for a number of different Galaxy devices. With almost all remaining devices, at least the ones on the list, set to be updated during the month of June. The schedule shows the various Galaxy devices that have already been updated to One UI 7 over the course of April and May. And the remaining devices being updated in June, and just one device waiting until July. Advertisement. Scroll for more content. Samsung's updated One UI 7 schedule. Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2024 June. Galaxy Tab Active 5 June. Galaxy Tab Active 4 Pro, June. Galaxy Tab A9 Plus June. Galaxy Tab A9 July. Galaxy A55 June. Galaxy A54 June. Galaxy A53 June. Galaxy A35 June. Galaxy A34 June. Galaxy A33 June. Galaxy A25 June. Galaxy A16 June. Galaxy A15 June. Galaxy A14 June. Galaxy A05s, June. Galaxy M53 June. Galaxy M33 June. Galaxy X Cover 7 June. Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro, June. Again, those devices are in addition to the many that have already been updated. Samsung's rollouts do vary depending on a number of factors, though. So you might see some rollouts be later or earlier based on your region, carrier, variant, etc. Meanwhile, the beta for Samsung's One UI 8 update is right around the corner. More on Samsung. Galaxy Z Fold 7 surfaces in hands-on leak, showing its much wider design. Galaxy Watch 8 classic renders show the squarish design, rotating bezel, third button gallery. Galaxy S25 Edge finally debuts for $1,099 with 3,900 mAh battery, 5.8mm thin. Follow Ben, Twitter, X, Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram.
What was it saying that
Samsung One UI 8.5. Everything you need to know. Sam Mobile. Last updated. June 22, 2025 at 1951 Coordinated Universal Time +2. Sam Mobile has affiliate and sponsored partnerships. We may earn a commission. Samsung One UI 8.5. Everything you need to know. Features, release timeline, eligible devices, and more details. Firmware. Samsung's One UI interface continues to evolve with each new version, and next year, we will see something we haven't seen for a long time, a by.5 version of One UI. In the early days of One UI, major new versions were followed by by.1 and by.5 updates. Between One UI 1.0 and One UI 2.0, we got One UI 1.1 and One UI 1.5. And One UI 2.1 and One UI 2.5 were released between 2.0 and 3.0. Samsung then shifted strategy and decided to replace the by.5 versions with by.1.1 updates, which were tailored for foldable phones and
Oh, where did it say? Up here, up here, up here. Firmware. There it is, firmware. Okay, I'm not lying to you, or maybe it's a lie, but I'm not saying you can get the update or any phone or any type of phone with the firmware. So what do we do? Copy that to prove it to you. How do you read that? A lot. And translate. How do you read that? How are you playing games? I don't need to copy anything. That's silly. That's silly.
firmware updates. Firmware system updating. Google search. Firmware updates are processes that involve updating the software embedded within a device's hardware to fix bugs, improve performance, enhance security, or add new features. These updates are typically provided by the device manufacturer and can be crucial for maintaining optimal device functionality and security. Firmware is a type of software embedded in hardware devices that provides the basic instructions for how the device operates, unlike software that users directly interact with. Firmware controls the low-level functions of a device, enabling it to boot up and communicate with other components. Firmware versus software IBM. Perhaps the most important difference between firmware and software is that while firmware helps devices boot up and communicate, software is focused more on us. Why are firmware updates important? Bug fixes. Updates can resolve known issues or bugs that may be affecting the device's performance or stability. Security enhancements. Firmware updates often include security patches to protect against vulnerabilities and threats. Performance improvements. Updates can optimize the device's performance, making it run more efficiently or faster. Feature addition. Manufacturers may release updates to add new features or functionalities to a device. Compatibility. Firmware updates can ensure a device remains compatible with other hardware or software. ERA Systems. https://www.erasystems.com. What is a firmware update? ERA Systems. Updating firmware can fix technological problems, improve security, and provide new features. Firmware updates allow you to upgrade your device without having. What is firmware and how does it work? The 14th of July 2023, firmware is a type of software that provides machine instructions to a device's hardware components, enabling it to function on a basic level. BACO, OTA firmware updates in a nutshell. The 3rd of December 2024, why are firmware updates necessary? While software updates are seen as a routine matter, many people are unaware of the existence of firmware. Let Allo, Guide to Firmware Update, Lenovo US. Absolutely, a firmware update can improve your device's performance, fix bugs, add new features, and enhance the device's compatibility with other devices. What is a firmware update and why is it important? The 27th of June 2025, optimized performance firmware updates often include performance optimizations that enhance the speed and efficiency of your device. These improve me. YouTube Dream Life Photography, Tom Woods. How to update firmware in Canon cameras and why you should in 2024. The 4th of January 2024, firmware updates in your Canon cameras can dramatically improve the performance of your setup. Some updates can make your camera perform like an update. How are firmware updates performed? The process for updating firmware varies depending on the device, but generally involves these steps. Identify the device and its manufacturer. Check for available updates. This can be done through the device's settings menu, a dedicated software application, or by visiting the manufacturer's website. Download the update. If available, download the firmware update file. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. These instructions may involve connecting the device to a computer, using a specific software application, or other methods. Install the update. The update will typically involve transferring the firmware file to the device and restarting it. Ohm system. https://explore.ohmsystem.com. Update to the latest firmware release now. OM system, Olympus. To update the firmware of your camera, follow the instructions below. 1. Open Ohm Workspace. 2. Connect your camera to your computer using the bundled USB cable. Updating the software or firmware of your product, Bose. Software and firmware updates improve product features and stability. Install any available updates to keep your product working at its best. If an update is EOS Magazine. https://www.eos-magazine.com. Firmware. Updates to your Canon EOS camera. 1. Connect a card reader to your computer and insert the card you have just formatted, or insert your card into a compatible slot on your computer. The card WI. Examples of firmware updates. Updating the firmware on a router to improve its security or add new features. Updating the firmware on a camera to improve its image quality or add new shooting modes. Updating the firmware on a computer's BIOS to improve its boot process or add support for new hardware. Updating the firmware on a printer to improve its print quality.
I've got no cones, man. I've got nothing. I don't deal or anything, you know.
Where's
Garth, he comes and goes, you know. I don't know about Garth. Sorry about that.
Quality or add new features. Learn Microsoft. https://learn.microsoft.com. Update device firmware using Windows Update, Windows drivers. The 23rd of April 2025, best practices. In your firmware update driver INF, specify DIRD13 to cause PNP.
Oh, well, I was talking to you about the drugs, my mate, on the door. What a dickhead I am. Oh, no, smoke no marijuana. No, marijuana. What a dickhead. I don't smoke marijuana every day. I try not to. And cigarettes as well. Dirty habits.
PNP to leave the files in the driver package in the driver store. Firmth. YouTube Lawrence Tyndall. How to update your computer's firmware in Windows 11 tenths. The 18th of November 2024. Model go into the Windows start bar and type in system information, and click on the search result that looks like this. Now from this dialog window. What is firmware? IBM. Examples of firmware updates include adding security features to an internet router. Improving the browsing function for a streaming video app and an operating. YouTube Lawrence Tyndall. How to update your computer's firmware in Windows 11 tenths. The 18th of November 2024. Firmware updates for SmartThings sensors, outlets and buttons. The method to update your devices may vary for IoT devices, such as TVs, home appliances, soundbars, and speakers. For example, to check for updates, it may be Software Update, Upgrade App, Apps on Google Play. The 3rd of February 2025, manufacturers frequently release firmware updates to resolve issues or fix bugs. Although these updates usually appear on your phone automatically, Ilche 6700 System Software Firmware Update VIR 2.00 Sony O. Select menu right pointing arrow setup option right pointing arrow version right pointing arrow body. The system software version will be displayed. The update was successful if the screen shows VIR 2.00. Best practices for firmware updates. Always download updates from the device manufacturer's official website. Read the update instructions carefully before proceeding. Ensure the device is properly connected and powered during the update process. Do not interrupt the update process once it has started. If you encounter any issues during the update, consult the manufacturer's support resources. Ilche-7CR System Software Firmware Update VIR 2.00 Sony O. Step 1. How to download the updater. Insert the memory card on which the system software data was saved. Select menu right pointing arrow setup option right pointing arrow version and select Ilche 1M2 System Software Firmware Update VIR 2.01 Sony O. Step 1. How to update. Insert the memory card that contains the saved system software data into slot 1 of the camera. Only slot 1 will recognize the system soft. Moultrie Products. https://www.moultrieproducts.com. What is firmware and why is it important? The 23rd of July 2021, once the camera takes the new firmware update, its performance will be enhanced right away. From time to time, the Moultrie mobile team will launch. Ricoh brings updated shooting modes to its GR3 and GREX cameras via firmware update. The 6th of April 2022, Ricoh brings updated shooting modes to its GR3, Ricoh GR3, and GREX cameras via firmware update added the following enhanced features. Impro. How to update firmware for camera security and performance. The 23rd of August 2023, for example, firmware updates can fix bugs, glitches, or errors that can cause your camera to malfunction, freeze, or crash. They can also enhance Yo. BIOS update, a step-by-step flashing guide. Yes, your flash BIOS plays a role in determining boot times. The initialization and configuration of hardware components during the boot process are influenced. HP consumer notebook PCs, updating the BIOS basic input-output system, Windows HP support. This process is also known as flashing the BIOS. Updating the BIOS is recommended as standard maintenance of the computer. It can also help to improve compute. Frozen Help Center. https://helpcenter.frozen3d.com. Firmware downloads and release notes. Frozen Help Center. 5 days ago. 1. Importance of firmware updates. Firmware is like the brain of your printer, controlling its hardware components and ensuring smooth operation. By S. Canon Knowledge Base. https://support.usa.canon.com. Updating the firmware, TS6420. Occasionally, firmware updates will be made available for your printer. These updates will help ensure optimum print quality and performance. To check for and Swing Logic. https://support.swinglogic.us. Updating SLX products firmware, Swing Logic Help Center. First and foremost, ensure your device is connected to power throughout the update process. This ensures a smooth and uninterrupted firmware update. What is a firmware update and why is it important? The 27th of June 2025, don't disconnect or turn off your device during the firmware update process. Allow the update to complete uninterrupted to minimize the risk of firm. QuadBridge. https://www.quadbridge.com. Best practices for applying firmware updates, QuadBridge. The 21st of November 2024, data loss. Updates that fail during critical stages may corrupt or erase stored data. Incompatibility issues. Updating firmware without verifying HAR. Free bulk barcode generator software. How do I find out if my scanner needs a firmware update? 8.3 Post-update issues. If you encounter issues after updating the firmware, consult the manufacturer support resources or contact their customer support for. What is a firmware update and why is it important? Ninja 1. The 27th of June 2025, a firmware update is the process of upgrading the firmware installed on a device by altering its code. Firmware updates typically come from the Devi Guide to Firmware Update Lenovo O. A firmware update is a software program used to update the firmware in devices like your router, camera, or digital video disc DVD drive. It's like getting a What is firmware? Types and examples. Fortinet. Firmware updates enable hardware devices to continue operating efficiently and securely. These updates typically involve some form of program alteration that
Wow. If you search really hard and really fast and really stupid, I don't know. Anyway, searching for software firmware update, I remember in my YouTube channel, I used to have one firmware that I used to go to years ago. Why is it like that? Why is it not like this?
Firmware update. Guide to firmware update Lenovo US. What is a firmware update? A firmware update is a software program used to update the firmware in devices like your router, camera, or digital video disc DVD drive. It's like getting a newer, better version of your device without having to buy a new one. Can I do a firmware update myself? Yes, you can. Mostly provide firmware updates on their websites. You just need to download the update and install it on your device following the instructions provided. Does a firmware update erase my data? Not usually. However, it's always a good idea to back up your data before performing a firmware update, just in case something goes wrong. What happens if a firmware update fails? If a firmware update fails, your device may become unresponsive or stop working entirely. In some cases, you might be able to recover the device by reapplying the update or resetting the firmware to its original state. Could a firmware update improve my device's performance? Absolutely. A firmware update can improve your device's performance, fix bugs, add new features, and enhance the device's compatibility with other devices. When should I update my device's firmware? You should update your device's firmware whenever we release an update. This ensures that your device has the latest features and security patches. Would a firmware update help if my device is behaving strangely? It could. Firmware updates often include bug fixes that can resolve issues causing your device to behave unusually. Does every device need a firmware update? Not necessarily. Some devices may never need a firmware update, while others may require regular updates. It depends on the device and the model. Can a firmware update make my device incompatible with other devices? While it's rare, a firmware update could potentially cause compatibility issues with other devices. Always read the update notes before applying a firmware update to understand what changes it will make. What precautions should I take before updating my firmware? Before updating your firmware, ensure your device is plugged into a power source and has a stable internet connection. Also, back up any important data as a precautionary measure. What is the difference between a software update and a firmware update? A software update typically applies to the applications or operating system on your device. While a firmware update pertains to the permanent software programmed into your device's memory, the software that controls the hardware. What happens if I lose power during a firmware update? Losing power during a firmware update can potentially brick your device, rendering it unusable. It's crucial to ensure you have a reliable power source before starting an update. Does a firmware update take a long time? The duration of a firmware update depends on the size of the update and your internet speed. Most updates should take less than 30 minutes, but some could take longer. Would my device automatically download firmware updates? Some devices are set to automatically download and install firmware updates, but this varies by device model. Check your device's settings to see if this option is available. Could a firmware update affect my device's battery life? In some cases, a firmware update could improve your device's battery life by optimizing the way your device uses power. However, in rare cases, an update might cause increased battery drain. Can a firmware update fix security issue? Yes, firmware updates often include patches for security vulnerabilities. Keeping your device updated is one of the best ways to protect it from potential threats. What should I do if my device won't turn on after a firmware update? If your device won't turn on after a firmware update, try performing a hard reset. If that doesn't work, you may need to contact the professional repair service. Would a firmware update change my device settings? Typically, a firmware update shouldn't alter your personal settings. However, it's always a good idea to note down your settings just in case they get reset too. Defaults. Does a firmware update require an internet connection? Yes, you'll need an internet connection to download the firmware update. However, the installation process itself can usually be done offline. Can I schedule firmware updates to happen automatically? Some devices allow you to schedule firmware updates to happen automatically at a time that's convenient for you. Check your device's settings to see if this option is available. How can I check if a firmware update is available for my device? You can usually check for firmware updates by going into your device's settings and looking for an option like Software Update or System Update. The exact steps will vary depending on your device and its operating system. Is it safe to download firmware updates over public Wi-Fi? It's generally safe to download firmware updates over public Wi-Fi, but it's best to use a trusted network whenever possible. Public networks can be less secure, which could potentially expose your device to threats. Why does my device need frequent firmware updates? Frequent firmware updates could mean that it is actively improving the software, fixing bugs, and patching security vulnerabilities. It's generally a good sign of ongoing support for your device. Can a firmware update improve the performance of my device? Yes, a firmware update can potentially improve the performance of your device. Updates often include bug fixes and enhancements that can make your device run more smoothly. Can I undo a firmware update? Generally, it's not possible to undo a firmware update. Once installed, the new firmware replaces the old one and cannot be reversed. However, some may provide a way to revert to a previous version of firmware in certain cases. How often should I check for firmware updates? How often you should check for firmware updates depends on your device. However, checking for updates once a month is a good rule of thumb for most devices. Why does my device restart after a firmware update? A device typically restarts after a firmware update to ensure that all new system changes are correctly implemented. It's a standard part of the updating process. Can firmware updates improve the Wi-Fi connectivity of my device? Yes, some firmware updates can improve Wi-Fi connectivity by fixing bugs or enhancing the device's ability to connect to wireless networks.
New pipe. Oh, yeah. Get this app. It's on Google. Download YouTube or something.
NewPipe, a free YouTube client. Supported services. YouTube. YouTube is one of the most popular video and live streaming platforms, including music, news, gaming, and much more. Visit service website. PeerTube. PeerTube is a decentralized video platform. Any PeerTube instance can be added to NewPipe. Visit service website. Bandcamp. Bandcamp is an artist-friendly platform for sharing music. It offers user-friendly DRM-free downloads. Visit service website. Get NewPipe. Android 5 Plus. APK info. #sum. SHA 256D59111E20732 Phase 6635 AC2 ECB 42C 57827 EE568972222D2C 19 AFE 38A5B2A5 EB60. Signing key, SHA-256 fingerprint, CB84069BD68116BA, FAE5E. Release highlights. YouTube fix not loading any video information, fix HTTP 403 errors while playing videos and restore playback of some age-restricted videos. Fix caption sizes not being changed. Fix downloading info twice when opening a stream. SoundCloud remove unplayable DRM protected streams. Updated translations. Blog post. F-Droid is a trusted catalog of free and open source applications for Android. Install the F-Droid app to get notified about updates. It enables you to download and update them too. If you install NewPipe via the default F-Droid repo, updates for NewPipe might take their time to arrive for you. If you want to use our own repository, check out the next item in this slideshow. F-Droid respects your privacy. They don't track you, or your device. We would like to thank them for providing their services in this way. Need help? Did you enable unknown sources? Do you have problems updating? First steps. NewPipe is free and open source. Your advantages. Quick help when you have a problem, nobody's ever had one. Dozens of people bring NewPipe forward and translate it into 122 languages. You can check the source code on GitHub and contribute to NewPipe. NewPipe is covered by the GPL 3.0 license. Get NewPipe from F-Droid and discover more FOSS apps. NewPipe is available for free. Contribute 34,309 translate improve this site. Support NewPipe. Why NewPipe is free? We love what we are doing. NewPipe is powered by a growing community. Our goal is to make the internet a more free, libre place and open it for everyone. Your donations cover a majority of our costs. F-Droid, Weblate, Sentry and other companies offer their services to open source projects for free. Like the idea? We hope so, but don't forget, a lot of time and energy goes into this, and we share it with you. We offer you ways to support our work by donations, so we can get some extra snacks during work.
So NewPipe, get the app and you can download YouTube or something. Do videos. The other one was YT. What's this one? You put the video there and it'll download to you. How do you do that? Color that. Let's get YouTube. Let's go Guns N' Roses.
Next, Cal washes his car to save, but doesn't compare his car insurance.
Be quiet. And then on this one is that website in here. You can download it. 100. And here it is. Okay, we go to the what now?
Camera app with iFixing bugs. Google search. LTAAI can fix bugs in your code, even tricky logical errors, by analyzing your code and generating fixes. AI can now fix bugs while you sleep. Byte grad. Generative AI is being explored to automatically fix bugs, a costly and time-consuming problem for software companies. Revolutionizing bug fixing with generative AI. Don Woodlock. I'm exploring the use case about whether generative AI can automatically fix bugs. The power of generative AI in automatic bug fixing. Don Woodlock. In today's video, I want to share with you a few tips that I learned from using Lovable AI in the past few weeks. What I learned fixing bugs in my first SaaS app, Lovable AI Honest Review. Paul.
AI can now fix bugs while you sleep. There you go. You gotta go to this guy to watch it.
Don't just see a place, experience it with the locals that know it best. Train like a luchador in Mexico City with local style retro. Restore art in Rome with Studio Storti. Or dance like a K-pop star in Seoul. Experiences, now on Airbnb.
I love coding, but what I don't love is getting stuck with a bug that's hard to solve. So you can see it immediately changed my code here. If I don't like that, by the way.
Okay, you can get all these people teaching you how to decode, do code. You can sit down and really look what you are looking for and where you are. YouTube, say YouTube, 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 YouTube. On YouTube, you'll be able to put your mind to ease and go to where the coding is. There's a place where they give you the code with system updates. I don't know what I'm saying, but AI has gone too far now, and it can teach you how you can, make your own app.
Making app development, how creating app for your niche. Google search. AI overview. An AI overview is not available for this search. Can generate an AI overview right now. Try again later. AI overview. To develop an app for a specific niche, start by identifying a unique problem or need within that niche, research the competition, and design a user-friendly interface. Then, choose the right technology stack, develop the app, test it thoroughly, and plan for ongoing updates based on user feedback. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Identify your niche and idea. Define your niche. Clearly identify the specific market segment you want to target. Research the niche. Understand the needs, preferences, and pain points of your target audience within that niche. Brainstorm app ideas. Generate ideas for apps that address the identified needs and offer unique value within the niche. How to design a mobile app for a specific niche. 5 strategies for success. 1. Thorough market research is key. Define your target audience. Identifying your target audience is the first step in creating a successful mobile app. How to find the perfect niche.
Okay, video. Developing niche. How to build the way to build mobile app. It'll teach you how to create your own app with a niche, whatever the words are. It'll teach you all that. It's just that if you have time to copulate, put it all in your mind, if you have time, it's not just like that. Plus, you got to do it the right way, and you can have your own app with updates and everything, and you can have all the news and everything in one go. You can ask to look for it, and it'll look for it for you. When something similar of that question comes up, it'll give you an update that there is some search alerts for that type of news and type of things you're looking for. It's incredible. You can create your own app, how to develop app. You know what I mean? You can do your own app, how to build and sell. I could go over and over and over all these videos that are on YouTube. How to build directory app. Build coaching app in 10 minutes without code. Anyway, you can develop your own app. It'll take you one day to do it. You can do it. How to grow. This guy I can see.
Great currency exchange rates, plus discounted airport lounge passes, travel insurance, 3 hours of coding.
This guy reckons he can do it in 3 hours. There you go. He's done it. He's done it. He's fucked it. He's fucked it. He's done it, bro. He's done it. Build an app in just 3 hours and got 300k. Look at this guy. Anyway, he done it. I better go. I'm interrupting the thing. You can create your own app. Anyway, he won't do it. He won't do it. Create your own app and do whatever you want and fucking with the shit, man. And fuck the system. You ever heard anyone like me, man? No, man. You never heard. This is world record, bro. World record. I'm shaking to the knees, to the extreme. You know why don't they put NATO, UN in the border of Russia? Why don't they put NATO and UN in the border of Israel? Why don't they create peace in the world? Best technology we ever had, we ever know, Donald Trump. I love you. Intermix sector. Ciao, amigo.